Lifting weights doesn't cause microtears. Now, by now, I'm sure you've seen this. It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about this. Oh my gosh, it's such a revelation. But is it really? So, lifting weights doesn't cause microtears in the muscle. What happens is you lift weights, and then there's this calcium ion flux. And the calcium ion flux causes microtears. Okay, so lifting weights doesn't cause microtears. Lifting weights causes calcium ion flux, and the calcium ion flux causes the microtears. So let's just take out that middle step there, and still, lifting weights causes microtears. Like, that's what it is. Like, how pedantic and silly can we possibly be to say that weightlifting, lifting weights, resistance training doesn't cause microtears. Calcium ion flux causes microtears. Okay? But resistance training, lifting weights, causes calcium ion flux, which then causes the microtears. So, all we're saying here is that the microtears are not a result of mechanical tension, they're the result of the chemical process. But still, lifting weights causes the microtears. It's just not directly through mechanical tension. Instead, it's due to the chemical process that occurs. This is going to be a short video because all I have to say on this is the fact that that is completely useless information. This is like if I told you, move more and eat less. It's not that that's incorrect. There's nothing incorrect about, hey, you want to lose weight? Move more and eat less. It's just not useful. Like, it's one of those things where someone states something to sound intelligent, like, hey, this is what it is. But it doesn't change anything. Like, it doesn't change how you're going to lift weights. So, this is like if I told you how a car works, and I spent hours and hours explaining to you how a car works. This tells you nothing about how to drive it. That's the problem that we have today. Today, we have so much science that people want to talk about this and that and all these scientific things because it makes me sound smart. Listen to me, I'm scientific. And the reality of the situation is that you're not actually helping people. I'm not saying this to brag or to, in fact, I'm pointing out the problem with this, that, listen, I can sit and cite scientific studies to you all day long. That's not a brag, that's not a flex, that's me saying I could waste my time telling you scientific things. Or I could tell you actionable things. Which one's going to have more value? It's going to be the actionable things, which is the whole point of these videos. I do videos and people accuse me of, oh, you're anti-science, you're bro-science, because I read all of the studies instead of just citing one study. And so that makes me anti-science. It's anti-science that I look at all of the literature instead of just one single study. And the thing is that once you read all of the literature, you need to take away the actionable step. So in this same vein, very quickly, I'm going to point out to you, I made a post about these studies that they did on squats for weightlifters. The rest of the Soviets did a whole bunch of research on squats. And essentially, you end up that sets of 5 are the ideal set that you should be doing. The thing is, people called me bro-science over having stated that, and that's not what I actually said, though. What I pointed out was that in the studies, the bar velocity is what they were measuring. They were looking at the bar velocity. So if you squat very heavy, the bar moves slow. If you squat very light, the bar moves fast. And what they found was that whenever people did sets of 5, the average bar velocity was around 0.5 meters per second. Okay? The takeaway from this is not that you should do sets of 5 because there's something magical about 5. The point that you should take away about this is that when you do something that is a hard set of 5, the average bar velocity is going to end up around 0.5 meters per second. So for those of you who don't have, these, GymAware or Catapult or whatever, some, bar velocity tracking device, okay, a Tendo unit, just do hard sets of 5. That way you don't have to sit around trying to figure out what your bar velocity is. Now, for those of you who do have a Tendo unit, okay, I don't care if you do sets of 3, sets of 6, sets of 8 even, whatever set you're doing, as long as your average bar velocity is around 0.5 meters per second, then you're going to hit that sweet spot where you're going to gain the most strength. Very, very heavy, where you're moving at 0.3 meters per second, that's great for maximal strength. However, it didn't yield the same result. And people still got stronger, by the way. I don't care if you squat super heavy. If you squat super heavy and it's 0.3 meters per second, you will still get stronger. And if you squat light and it's 0.8 meters per second, you will still get stronger. It's just that the group that was averaging 0.5 meters per second made the most progress. So let's be real clear here. If you do sets of 3, really hard sets of 3, or you do really hard sets of 12, you're going to make progress either way. It's just that the group that did 0.5 meters per second as their bar velocity, their average bar velocity, made the most progress. So the actionable step is for you to do sets of 5, not because there's something magical about 5, it's because a hard set of 5 ends up around 0.5 meters per second as an average bar velocity. But if you have all this scientific shit and you want to go spend $1,000 on a Tendo unit, maybe $2,000, I have no idea what they cost at this point. I haven't looked at one since like 2013. Then go ahead and do that and measure your bar velocity and make sure it's 0.5 meters per second, okay? This is the whole thing where we can get super scientific on things, or we can just give people actionable advice. So, the same thing is happening here with, lifting weights doesn't cause micro tears. It's actually, the calcium ion flux. And it's like, that's not a useful thing to tell people. And besides, it's actually not even true, because if you think about it, the truth is that lifting weights causes micro tears. Lifting weights causes micro tears because lifting weights causes calcium ion flux, which then causes the micro tears. Do you really care if it's a mechanical process or a chemical process? Probably not. It won't change the way you train. So we can sit around and talk about this, or we could just continue lifting weights and accept the fact that lifting weights causes damage to the muscle that then has to heal. Up to you. I mean, tell me how, but yeah, comment below if you're going to change how you train now that you know that it's a chemical process instead of a mechanical process. Let me know how that's going to change your training. This is ridiculous. This is like so many other things. We spend all this time worrying about small, minute scientific details that don't actually have any actionable information in them, and it doesn't change how we train.